But first, our top story tonight, a serial killer still fighting for freedom even after getting sentenced to life without parole.
A judge handed down that sentence today against 31-year-old Johnny Avalos. He was convicted of murdering 4 women. Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos joins us live.
And Henry, here in Texas, convicted killers just don't get much sympathy in court. So what's the legal argument here?
Well, Jeff and Deborah, the legal argument is the defense attorney argues his client's mental state is not normal. But prosecutors say Avalos knew what he was doing and he wanted to kill more.
They found her body over here.
Michelle Marquez is taking us back to 2015.
She was beaten. She was strangled, and of course she was raped.
The body of Genevieve Ramirez was discarded in the Southside alley.
That's it.
Just hours before, Marquez was going to rescue Ramirez, who was a sex worker, from the streets.
I don't know what makes it hard for you.
Yeah.
But it was too late.
And she wanted to come into the home, and she wanted off the streets, and she wanted help.
I could tell you what happened before, I could tell you what happened after.
The same year, Avalos admitted being connected to the murders to Ken's 5, but would not give any details. In 2019, he is convicted of murdering 4 women, including Ramirez. His attorney confirmed there was a 5th victim.
It was just that 4 women were charged in the indictments.
Jorge Aristolides argues Avalos has the mental capacity of a juvenile and should be sentenced based on those grounds. The appeal will be tough. The state Supreme Court will have to get involved.
We have to be allowed, and we have to seek as lawyers to uncover every rock to make sure that true justice is achieved.
Marquez, who originally wanted the death penalty, says his fate is already sealed.
It gets to haunt him. He gets to live with that. So people in prison are going to treat him worse. So we'll see what happens.
Now, Marquez carries on the memory of Ramirez with a unique gift. She hands out what she calls Genevieve's purses to sex workers. The purses will have her story as well as hygiene products. By the way, Genevieve was the first recipient of the purse. Henry Ramos, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.